Hi guys and welcome to Football Fix. Today we're going to be doing the top 5 transfers in this summer transfer window. We're going to be ranking them from 5 to 1 based on which is the best in our opinion. I'm joined by Thomas today.
Hiya.
And we'll get straight into it. So do you want to start off with your 5th best transfer of this summer?
Yeah, now, as you can see, maybe a little bit biased, but my fifth best is the £31 million Ukrainian left-back Zinchenko, who signed from Manchester City to Arsenal this summer. The reason for this transfer is because Arsenal massively lacked depth in that position.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney was a player who was injured for, I think he's played something like 52% of Arsenal's games since he's in the Premier League, since he's come to the club, which just isn't good enough. He's obviously a very good left back, but Arsenal desperately needed cover for that position. So I think that Zinchenko is a perfect addition in that case. Also, when you look at Arsenal's downfall last season, they obviously went on loads of runs where they do really well and then they'd lose one, and that would be 3 defeats in a row.
Yeah.
And then they'd get it back, have a run, then do that again. And I think a main reason for that is the inexperience of the squad. They didn't know how to win or continue winning when they weren't playing well. As seen in the Palace, Brighton and Southampton games. I think it was that. So I think the addition of someone who's got that experience of being a winning dressing room, not necessarily Premier League, obviously he has won Premier League, but it isn't his Premier League, so to speak, because he was a squad player. But the fact he's had that experience and mentality of being around the dressing room that's so consistent, I think that experience will come massively helpful to the team that Arsenal have, especially when their backs are against the wall. With the inexperienced young players you have, you think of Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe, etc. They're not players that are really used to coming through yet. They haven't got that experience, but Zinchenko definitely offers that. So for me, Zinchenko's number 5.
Yeah, I wish I'd put him on my list, to be honest, but Zinchenko, he was great at City. He started off as an attacking midfielder actually for City when he was coming through.
So versatile. He can play centre mid as well.
He can play everywhere. That's what's brilliant about him and exactly what Arsenal need. So I'll get on to my 5th one. I've not gone with Zinchenko, but I have gone with another left back.
Another left back.
And it's Tyrone Malacia from United. Right. I think he's a great signing for them because Luke Shaw isn't really ready to play the type of football Ten Hag wants him to play. I don't think he's not fit enough. He's not fast enough really either. But Malacia's shown in the first 5 games. I think especially the ones after the first 2 from United really. But since the Liverpool game, he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
And just some of the football they play, it's so important that those fullbacks can pass the ball really quickly and receive it under pressure. Because the way he plays, the football he plays, it's so nice to watch.
He's young as well, isn't he?
He is really young.
21?
Yeah, he's very young.
I think it's a great, astute signing. Left-footed, obviously, as well. Provides a nice bit of width. Can attack better than their other fullbacks as well.
Yeah.
He looks like a complete package.
Yeah,
I fully agree with that shout.
Only 13 million it was. I think 15 after add-ons. I think that's a great signing. And probably my favourite of United's signings in terms of the value for money they've got from him there.
Yeah. I fully understand that, and I fully agree. I think that he's going to elevate the defensive line, especially when you've got Martinez next to him, Varane, and Dalot at the moment.
Yeah, Dalot.
He's looking like quite a solid unit. They don't necessarily have that attacking outlet, but while they don't have that, they can certainly defend quite well.
Yeah.
So, who you got as your 4th choice pick?
My 4th choice, this is one that I think has gone under the radar. He has started really well this season, but it's Romeo Oliva from Southampton.
Ooh.
Moved from City, and I've mentioned him before when we've talked about Southampton's transfers. I think I did it when we were doing the Premier League predictions video. But while I thought he might be too inexperienced to be a starter in the Premier League, he's really proved me wrong actually. I thought his performance against United was really good.
Where was he from?
What do you mean, what nation?
They bought him from?
They bought him from City.
City.
He was at City's academy. It was only 13 million, I think, for him in the end.
Yeah.
Good value, and it just shows how good he was when Chelsea, allegedly on the final day, had a verbal proposal of 50 million for him turned down after he'd already signed for Southampton.
Yeah, I saw that. That's mental.
Which just shows how well he started the season.
It also shows how unjoined up Chelsea are.
It's got 2 messages there, but his liveliness and how good he is at winning the ball back is a really good signing, I think. And the 40 million buyback clause City have got, I think they'll definitely be triggering that at some point, especially as Rodri starts to age.
Yeah, so from one central midfielder to another, my 4th choice is the deadline day signing that shocked me the most. Zakaria as a loan with an option to buy from Juventus.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they sign him this season?
I know, they signed him in January, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one because Juve obviously signed him only for a short period of time, but Zakaria on a loan with, was it a 30 million buyout?
30 million buy option, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a great astute signing. He's a combative defensive midfielder, but can also play a pass. And I think he is exactly, really, a different dimension that Chelsea need in the midfield. I do like a defensive-minded midfielder, I'm going to be honest. Someone that's more athletic, and he certainly fits the bill. And to him with Kovacic and when Kante when he's fit, or Mason Mount, or whoever you want to play, maybe not Jorginho because I don't rate him, but with a really strong midfield, and I think he does definitely add something to that midfield that they were lacking before, especially because Kante's now aging and not being able to get the stamina or the run of games in. I think Zakaria is a great addition. Yeah,
I completely agree. I think they were lacking the physicality in midfield as well because they were playing Gallagher, Kovacic, and Jorginho. None of those three really have any sort of physical presence, and that I think they got quite bullied. In some of the games recently, especially against Leeds. Their midfield dominated them. So I think it's a great signing on loan. We'll see how he does this season, and I could definitely see them triggering that buy option at the end of his 1-year loan spell.
I fully agree. I do think they will sign him. I think it's probably a mandatory option to buy, if we're being honest.
Yeah, they'll definitely do it.
It's not, but it'll be in their heads. They'll be like, we're signing him.
Yeah. So I've got mine next.
My
number 3. So my third best signing of this transfer window is Julian Alvarez to Man City. We signed him actually in January of this year. It was only 14 million, which, how he started the season, seems to be a bargain. And in January, loaned him back to River Plate for the rest of the season, and he's just joined City for the start of this season. Done really well so far in the games that he's played. Really lively, the sort of pace that City needed after losing Sterling and Jesus. And 2 goals against Bournemouth, could have had 3 as well. Not Bournemouth, sorry, Nottingham Forest. Could have had 3, hit the post. He's a really lively player, and I think he's one of our... I put him as our best winger at the moment.
I can't argue too much against it in terms of his start, but from the premise of it being transfers that are good, I have to say I think a bit of bias has come in with this shout.
There is bias with this one. But
he much reminds me of... Do you remember when Gabriel Jesus first joined Man City?
Yes, he's got that raw sort of...
He's the raw pace, tenacity, great attitude. He's basically Jesus 2.0, as in when he first joined.
Got a bit of Aguero in him as well, for me, the way he finishes. It's a similar sort of clinical nature of his finishes.
I just feel
that with Aguero.
I feel that when you look at the rest of the Prem, you think Casemiro coming into United, you think one player I'm going to mention in a minute coming into Tottenham. I think there is a tinge of bias on this one, if I'm honest.
What I've tried to do with this, as you'll have seen by my first 3 signings, I've tried to have a nice mix of top quality signings, which will be coming with my next 2, and great value for money picks, because the first 3 that I've mentioned, none of them have been worth more than 20 million. I think all 3 of those signings, they're just great signings and improve the team much more than most people had them out to.
Definitely. I mean, it was clear that he was going to get game time this season, Alvarez, because Pep's sold Sterling and Jesus, so he needed to get game time because otherwise they'd be a bit short. But he started really well. Hopefully that'll continue. We don't know, but hopefully it will.
Yeah, I hope so.
For my third, I've gone with the Tottenham man I was on about before, Yves Bissouma, for 25 million. He hasn't started necessarily well, which in the preamble to us starting this recording, you mentioned that's why he's not on your list. But I think for value for money, you can't get a better defensive midfielder in the league. I think he's miles a step ahead of Højbjerg.
I don't think Højbjerg's that good now.
I think that he's one of the top 3 out-and-out defensive midfielders in the league. And I think he's phenomenal. I just think he's amazing. He hasn't started very well, but his defensive numbers, his athletic numbers, his progression numbers for Brighton last year were second to none. He's a tremendous signing for 25 million. He's 25, sorry, for 25 million pounds. I think it's great business. My only sort of thing that stops it being number 1 on this list is that Conte is the manager, and he has weird ways of working, and I'm not sure, because Bissouma's not started like a battle of hell, that he's going to get much game time over the course of the season as a starter.
This is one that I disagree on more than some of the others, Bissouma. I think it is a good signing. I don't think they've overpaid in any means for 25 million, but I wouldn't put him. I genuinely think Lavia is a better player than him. Has started the season better.
He started the season better, but
He's not a better player, but he started the season much better than him. And the fact that I don't know, he's just not. I would never put him as my third top signing. Put it that way.
I think he's sensational. And this is from an Arsenal fan. Like this is.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that sign. I think he is the perfect midfielder as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well he's going to work in Tottenham, but I think one of the issues is we're playing with Højbjerg, which is that doesn't work because they're both meant to be doing the pivot role with Bentancur or a more advanced central midfielder.
Put it this way, right? I think Bazouma's better than Zakaria, and I really like the Zakaria signing. I think if Chelsea were being intelligent, they'd have got rid of Kante because he's coming off and he'd sign Bazouma. Or alternatively, if indeed he left Leicester, I would have replaced him with Bazouma. Bazouma is that good.
I can't agree with the better than Zakaria one. We'll have to see how Zakaria is in the league, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. He is a really good player.
I think he is. I was about to say best DM in the league, but he isn't. He's probably third best because I think Fabinho and Rodri are above him.
Yeah, he's definitely in my top 5. I can't put him in the top 3 yet.
Well, who's in third?
Casemiro.
Enough said on that. Right, okay. We'll go on to my second, which I believe you probably have the same player here.
Probably
I've gone for Arsenal's Gabriel Jesus. £45 million from Manchester City. Started the season like a bat out of hell. Seems to have revolutionised the Arsenal attack in general. Yeah. Such a fluid player, great hold-up play, great pressing ability, great athleticism. I have been outstanding with him because I thought we're getting a player, he'll be all right. He might get 15 goals a season, sort of. But the way he has changed the attack, the way he's actually held the ball up, I don't know if you've watched much of Arsenal this season, but when the ball's in the air coming to him and we finish it long, and he can just drop it dead.
Yes, that's something.
That is an ability I didn't even know he had. Like when I watched it at City, obviously you watch him on the wing playing that, but the fact he can do that, hold the ball up and be such a focal point, his dribbling ability I underestimated as well.
Yes, he's really good on the ball.
Like, honestly, there's only one man stopping him from being number 1, and that one man is a robot. So, in terms of actual people that exist, Jesus would be number 1. But yeah, I mean, Jesus, absolutely outstanding bit of business. He's massively gone past my expectations. Phenomenal.
Yeah, Jesus, brilliant signing. I have been watching Arsenal a decent amount this season. You've a really attractive side to watch at the moment, especially with the addition of Jesus and Zinchenko, as you mentioned. Yeah. The players that link up really well in the team. And yeah, it's just been the way. Jesus is the type of player where sometimes he might not score in a game or he might not do anything in terms of assists or goals, but he'll always be involved in the movement. A bit like Ødegaard has been for the past few seasons. While he might not have got 10, 15 goals every season, he's always involved in it and he's always there supplying the pre-assist, or he's just always involved in the attack much more than he gets credit for, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any qualms for him being at 2. I think that's probably going to be a widely sort of thought process.
Yes.
This top 2 would be the top 2 for everyone.
Yes, they were, as I was making this list, they literally off the top of the head, without even looking at any of the other ones, it was Jesus and the man we'll come on to now.
Yeah, I think that though, if you have a different opinion or a different list to us, put it in the comments below. Let us know. But the man who's gone first, I'll let you introduce
Erling Haaland. Oh my gosh, how good has he been at the start of this season? He's got 10 goals in 6 games.
With about 2 touches, but
unbelievable. He averages about 12 touches a goal, which is one that I'm assuming is the record for a striker who's got 10 plus goals in a Premier League season.
My only worry about that, right, is that just from an outside point, if he's not getting involved in play, and he has a bad run of form where he doesn't get involved enough to score or whatever, he doesn't really offer much. I'm not saying it's going to happen because it's City. City, great chances, it probably won't happen. But if you're looking at like a risk-based analysis strategy, that could be a worry down the line.
I don't see it as a worry at all because I think he actually gets more players into the game because his lack of touches allow more players to get involved, such as Bernardo Silva's been. We're now playing Bernardo Silva and Gundogan in the starting 11, and I love that decision from Pep because both of them control the ball so well. Bernardo Silva especially on the ball, I think he's maybe top 3 City players in terms of how well he controls the ball under pressure. And with Haaland, while he might not get many touches of the ball, he's always in the positions to score. And it's all about City. It's almost like a learning curve for City's players this season with the new striker like Haaland. Because they will get used to him being in the position every time and knowing, just put it in there and he'll be there. That's been the case because a lot of his goals, he's not scored many goals, or if any, where they've been unbelievable goals. He's ran through 3-4 players. Most of the goals are him being in the right place at the right time and the winger or Foden or Mahrez, whoever, knowing he's in there, whipping it into him. And if he's there, he's going to score it.
I have no dispute about him being number one at all. 51 million is an absolute steal. Probably the best striker in the world right now, as we stated previously.
Yes.
But I'm trying to look at it to be devil's advocate because we've got to have different people's viewpoints and stuff. As much as I think that he is easily the best signing in the league. Yeah. If you looked at the game yesterday, I felt like City were way too one-dimensional because of purely him. They didn't have that different extra option up front where Sterling before probably would have been the difference, getting that cutting, run into the box and change of pace. And while obviously Haaland's amazing, he got the goal, did all that. Yeah. I feel City, from a City standpoint, not necessarily a Haaland standpoint, need that other option. And so like yesterday, it was very predictable what passing lanes were going to happen because you knew that when you get to the box, it's going to Haaland.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of them. I think he'll be amazing. I think he'll probably break the goal record. I think he's going to be an amazing signing. I don't want to put a dampener on a City fans transfer or anything like that. He's amazing. But from a risk assessment standpoint, there are some issues.
I want to say something about that because I do disagree with this because I don't think that's changed for City. Because last season we did have a lot of games like this, and I don't think it's merely the presence of Haaland that's the reason for this. City do have games like this where we get outcrowded and we're not passing it as quick. I've mentioned this almost every video we talk about City. I talk about how sometimes we have games, off days where we don't fizz the ball about quick enough. And that's the main difference. It's the intensity of our play that always catches out the teams that try and go nice and deep against us. Whereas, so I don't really think that as being Haaland's problem.
You could do with another option though.
I think we have. I think Julian Alvarez is that sort of different option when Haaland
up front.
Yes, he was a striker last season, all of last season.
I think Sterling should have stayed, personally. I mean, that's the one I've always been. I've said from the beginning. Sterling is an incredible world-class footballer. He just doesn't have the cutting edge at times. But
I think that's something you need. I think if you're going to make yourself that world-class footballer, you need that cutting edge because.
But I think Sterling's better than Foden.
I'd say he's better than Foden, but I think Foden is very overrated. I do. I really think he's overrated.
I watched Foden yesterday. He wasn't great.
Yeah, him and Mahrez. I think there's a few issues there for City. That's why I think our best front three at the moment would include probably Alvarez and probably Bernardo Silva as well.
Yeah. I mean, just the second part. I know this is going away from it. We've got a list out there. Haaland, Jesus, 1-2. Fair enough. But I was speaking to a City fan yesterday, and I wanted to put this point across to you because I don't agree with it. And I thought it was very outlandish, but I wanted to know if it's a generic City fan viewpoint. He said, in his opinion, that Nathan Ake is City's best defender.
I can see why he thinks that. I can see why he thinks that.
My immediate reaction was he wouldn't even get in any other top 4 team. That first team. So how is he City's best defender?
What I will say is something I want to mention as well. I think Ruben Diaz has had a really poor run of form recently, and I would put him below Ake on my list of who's City in terms of the ranking of City's.
That's not.
But just in general, it's not just form. I think he's been like this for a while now. He's not very fast for starters, and he's not very good aerially. I think Ake's better than him aerially in terms of, especially you see it on corners as well.
He's tiny though, Ake.
Yes, but he's got a brilliant jump on him. I don't think Diaz rarely. I think Diaz is another one. Okay. Even though I'm a City fan, I think he is a little bit overrated, and I don't think he should be anywhere near the discussion with Van Dijk, for example.
Yeah, but for me, right, in terms of ability-wise, and this is a hot take, and I know this is a hot take, but there is, of the closest player to Van Dijk in terms of ability in centre-back in world football is Laporte. And he's so injury-prone. It's unreal. But there was a period, just before Van Dijk obviously won the Champions League with Liverpool, for about a 2-year spell where Laporte was hands down the best centre-back in the world. Like, there was no debate, whether it was Stone or Company.
Best in the world, I'm not...
Easily. He's phenomenal.
I do really like Laporte. City have really noticed the difference when he's not there.
His injuries have completely derailed what his sort of form was, and it's, to be fair, probably derailed his reputation as well, because he just doesn't play consistently enough. But he is so good. For
me, City's best partnership is Stones and Laporte. I do think that is our best partnership. Because Diaz is... Another thing about Diaz, I don't think he's brilliant in terms of his passing. His passing ability, short distance, he'll have the high pass percentage rate. But in terms of... Compared to Stones or Laporte,
right, here we go.
I think he's out of his depth. What's he going to say here? What's he going to say here?
Passing-wise only, take away the player. Passing-wise only.
Oh God, which Arsenal player are you
Ben White...
Oh, no.
Is better than Laporte on the ball.
Laporte?
Not Laporte, sorry.
Diaz
on the ball and passing.
I've not seen much of Ben White's passing, but I wouldn't put it against you. I wouldn't put it past him.
Anyway, that was a hot take of the day. But this has been
our rolling list. Them out at this point with all the hot takes.
I like debating. It's good fun.
It's good.
It's easy to do though, like in the same room, isn't it? But anyway. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. There's our top 5 signings in the summer window. Obviously, Haaland takes the cake. We'll just quickly run through a list. So mine is Zinchenko 5th, Zakaria 4th, Basuma 3rd, Jesus 2nd, and Haaland 1st. What's yours?
Yes, and mine is in 5th I got Tyrell Malacia, 4th I had Romeo Oliva, 3rd I had Julian Alvarez, 2nd Gabriel Jesus, and 1st the big man Erling Haaland.
Brilliant. Thank you for watching, guys. Please be sure to subscribe and like the video. Turn the notification on to never miss a video from us. Thank you and bye.